So it is fall, at least here in the Seattle area, and I am so excited to be doing my favorite fall eyeshadow palette video. Kind of like to do these every year, but this year I decided to challenge myself because there's lots of expensive ones out there that are absolutely gorgeous. There's lots of indie ones that are absolutely gorgeous, but I wanted to find really good ones that were just from the drugstore. I gave myself this little challenge, and it turns out it was actually pretty easy to find a lot of really good ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into all of the really great finds that I found. Most of these are $10 and under. Totally worth it. And if you're wanting to feel those fall vibes, but you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, which I totally get, these are great little ones to add to your collection and, you know, help you enjoy your pumpkin spice latte season. Let's go ahead and get into it, and let's start with what I'm wearing today, which is Colourpop. I love me some Colourpop. They are usually really pretty good quality. Sometimes they're great quality, but usually just solidly good quality for around $10 for like this size of palette. Definitely worth ordering. You can find them in Ulta as well if you want to go swatch them. They don't have all of them. They're in Target as well now. So they're kind of an easy thing to pick up, and they're definitely drugstore priced. So it seems like they've moved away from doing more of their like sort of general like palettes that have a bunch of different colors in them, sort of themed but different colors, to a little bit more monochromatic sort of themed palettes. These are the ones that are I'm able to find. They used to have one, I think it was like a Malibu one or something like that, but it was gorgeous, and it would definitely be great for fall, but they don't have that anymore. So I actually had to go through, I found a whole bunch of my old palettes that they just don't carry anymore, so I can't really recommend them, unfortunately. But they do have a bunch of great new ones. Now, Colourpop runs 30% off sales like all the time, so definitely recommend you wait for one of those if you can, or you can just go to Target and pick up some of the ones that I'm going to tell you about, and they're like anywhere from $9 to $14 usually. So, you know, it just depends on whether you don't want to wait for it or not, right? Okay, so enough talk. Let's get started with the one that I'm wearing today. All of these ones that I ordered are all new to me, and so I wanted to give them a try. So I actually really like this one. This is the one I'm wearing today. This is called Wild Child, and obviously matches with my cozy fall kind of wear. So I love this coloring this time of year. Even if you are fair and cool toned, you can get away with this. It's that rusty, more reddish orange undertone. So you can totally wear these colors, and they look really good on us actually, especially if you do have red hair. It just picks up that, and it's even better. But even if you're like a cool toned blonde or something like that, it's still gonna look really good on you. You just might have to tone it down a little bit. So anyway, so this is the one I'm wearing today. I kind of did two different looks. I got all of mine online. I ordered them during a 30% off sale, and I got this one for $9.20. So it was a really good deal for me to just go ahead and get like 4 palettes all at once because they were running that 30% off sale. So at any rate, this one I paid about $9 for. So I love this shimmer, is gorgeous. I don't normally love the glitter toppers. Love this one. It's actually really nice, and you know, you'll see when I'm putting everything on kind of how it performs. I pretty much like all of it. I had to get my fingers into every single one of the colors. On one of the eyes, I mean, I've since fixed it now, but on one of my eyes I did sort of a lighter look, and the other one I did a darker look, and now I've got it all sort of dark together. But I like that you can go either way with this. You can go really deep and smoky if you want, or you can do just a light bit of that rusty fall leaves foiled look that just a little bit of mascara is going to look really fantastic with. I love this. This is really gorgeous. This is definitely going in my like, okay, it's fall, and I have like a little pile of makeup that I'm actually using right now. So this is going on the desk just because it performed really well. Really pretty, and I love these colors. you know, honestly, it's hard for me to pick. The mattes are just fine. They're really good. They're pigmented. You're going to get some fallout. That's pretty normal for Colourpop, but it's not terrible. Just, you know, don't put a ton on because it just comes right back off. But like their foiled colors are really, really pretty in this one. So super like this one. Highly recommend. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is kind of the same. You can see the packaging is the same. This one's called Wine and Only. Really like this one as well. Look at that. Oh, that's so pretty. Now, this definitely could be more like a Valentine's Day themed one, but I think it works really well if you are doing sort of the plummy mauves and that velvety sort of purpley grape wine color that is definitely a fall color as well. Really, really love this. What I would say about both this one and this one in these plastic ones, I found they got muddy. So I think that they are better used if you just use a couple of the colors together. If you do what I originally did, because you know, this is my first time trying these ones and I really wanted to like try all the colors, do all the things, it gets a little muddy. You still get a really, really good result, and I think it's really pretty at the end, but it was a lot of work because they tended to mix together and the colors didn't stay as true. What I really like these particular ones for better is to use some of these really bright, shiny colors and then just a little bit of one of the crease colors and just a little bit of the darkest color kind of on the edge, and go a little bit more, not monochromatic because it's really like 3 colors, but don't try to mix this particular formula as much, I don't think. Still absolutely gorgeous, really good color fidelity, but don't start mixing and adding too many. It falls back off your face. There's certain ones that just do this. There's a Dior one that does this, in fact. This one is beautiful, but this formula, there's a ton of fallout, and if you start trying to add too many colors, the exact same thing happens, only this is like $50-something and this is $9.20. So, you know, save yourself some cash. That said, I think this gives you a very like cool tone friendly, beautiful red look that is not like you look sick, right? You have to be careful with that. And I did not find, because certain ones I have tried do this, I did not find that this stained my eyelids at all. It's not a big deal to me. There's some glitters that I absolutely love, or like shimmers, like very metallic shimmers. Whatever the under binder is for it, it leaves your eye like one of these colors the next day. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't hurt me or anything like that, but I mean, it's kind of hard to get off. So this one, even though these colors look like they would do that, they do not do that. So definitely recommend this one as well. So if you're looking for that winey mauve color, this is a good one. Now, these are a little bit redundant, but one of the formulas I think is better than the other. Again, I ordered these, they were $9.20 a piece, and I learned by using them, and you'll see me when I'm putting them on in these videos. That's the first time I'm putting them on, so you're getting to see like me playing with them and how they perform. I like the color story of this one a little bit better, the Sage the Day. This one you have to order online. I've seen it at Ulta, but I have not seen this at Target. I think this is really pretty, mostly because it's got some of these like duochromes. This is one of my favorite duochrome colors ever. I don't know if you can see that. It is like green, teal, brown undertone. It's just, that's literally one of my favorite eyeshadow colors, and different brands do a varying job of how good they do that one. This one tends to get a little bit muddy. I actually liked how this one turned out in the end, but it was a lot of work because I tried to mix too many colors together, I think. And I think had I stuck to some of the more base colors and not overdone it, it would be easier and there would be better color fidelity. But regardless, it's still a good formula, really pretty colors. Love this, definitely some good sort of greeny fall colors with a little, you know, more brown undertones, a little more blue, a little bit of this sort of, you know, that like matches my shirt. You know, this gives you a little more of a full fall feel, but I am gonna have to say that The formula on this one, which is in Target, I've seen this, really, really good. The shimmers in this are really good. The color fidelity is really, really good. You really just don't need much. And honestly, at the beginning of the look that I do with this one, I think that if I weren't curious to try the whole thing, I would have left it with some of these just bright sort of acidy greens that are definitely part of the, you know, kind of fall leaves. You know, it's that more, I have a shirt I just got, it'll be in my next video, this like velvet acid green that is definitely one of the fall leaf colors that I really, really like. It's not like a fresh green, it's this acid turning yellow green, and that definitely signifies fall more to me. And so this is just perfect. If you were looking just for a greens palette, this is a great greens palette. And especially, I do think this, a lot of times if you get these yellowy greens, they look a little off on cool tones. I don't think this one does. They make them just muddy enough. There's just enough brown and in there that it really does. I mean, they've muted these just enough that they work really well on our skin tones. They pop, especially if you have lighter eyes like I do, they make your eyes pop. Even if you have like brown eyes, this is gonna pick up any kind of yellows or green and they're gonna make your eyes glow. So this was kind of a surprise. Out of all of them, this was my favorite formula. And so I kind of want to go try some of the other ones that look like this, because this formula was one of their really, really good formulas. And I think the look I was able to get with it was gorgeous. So definitely highly recommend this. $9.20 if it's on sale, like $14 if it's not. So yep, this is a good one. All right, next. All right, now speaking of good deals where you're just like, no way, how do they price them like that? These Lamora palettes. I already had one of theirs, but I picked up these two because they are more fall themed colors, I think. And I mean, these are like $9, $10 on Amazon. The quality is freaking great. It is not Natasha Denona, but it's like this one, which is, we'll talk about this one first. This one is a dupe for the I Need a Nude palette. This kind of condenses the I Need a Nude palette down to just the base colors that you really need, because there's a lot of sort of repetitive colors in that $70 palette. This is everything you need, nothing you don't. And I am shocked that the quality of this shimmer is almost as good. Like when you actually feel it on your finger, you can tell it is slightly less slippy than the one in Natasha Denona, but the way it looks on your eye, same difference for $10. So I'm blown away. I love this. This is really good. And out of all of the Lamora palettes, I think this is one of their best quality ones. Absolutely beautiful. I was able to get great looks. I mean, why would you, if you're interested in the Natasha Denona one, but you're just like $70 for a nudes palette that leans warm, just do this one. I'm seriously, like, if you kind of want it, then this one gives you everything that the Natasha Denona one has in it as far as looks for a fraction of the price. And it does lean a little bit warm, but there's a lot of good, solid, sort of little grayed, these grayed out colors they're cool and they work great with cool tones. And the nice thing, I love this, is when you have a predominantly cool toned, but then you have pops of warm. That looks so good, especially if you're red haired, where you have this sort of dichotomy going on where you're very cool toned, red undertones, blue undertones, but then you have this warm hair, this coppery warm hair. It really helps to put things together. If you have just like, you know, you do a completely grayed out look and then you put a little pop of this in the corner, just a little warm here, there, just a little bit. That looks so good on us. So this is a really good deal. This is one of my favorite new ones. Okay, but this one, this is gorgeous. Look at these colors. This is fall to me. holy cow. Again, the quality is gorgeous. The only thing that I would complain about on this one, look at how pretty that is that the color palette is so dark. It's a little bit harder for me to use because I am so pale. But I mean, if you're looking for little pops of just beautiful shimmers, these are very soft, very easy to use, really just gorgeous. Oh, that purple, oh, that is a gorgeous purple that is really wearable. I think that's so pretty. Yeah, and it matches kind of my vibe and my look, and this is fall. Good quality, just really, really, like if you want to have something pop, oh, look at that. That is so pretty. So anyway, I know I'm kind of geeking out, but I can't believe for the price that if you kind of search around like I did, there are some really good dupes, alternatives, just good on their own, you know, things that are going to work that don't have to cost you more than $10. So this one definitely worth checking out. Again, I think for me, you can go for it with a look like this because these colors are just so luscious and smoky and gorgeous on us, especially if you're redhead. This is going to pick up a lot of those colors, but even if you're not, you can totally pull these off with cool tones. And I mean, the color payoff is really, really good with these. And again, they did that sort of muted out version of it that is more fall and makes it more wearable, I think, for a lot of people. Clearly, I love these. So if you are picking up this, you might want to pick up this at the same time because they're both really, really good. All right, let's move on. Now, this one's called Harvest, so it is supposed to be fall themed. I got this. It's very colorful fall themed, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but I'll try it. It's Profusion. I actually like most of the Profusion stuff that I have tried. It's usually very cheap, like $6. I forget how much this one was, but I think it's under $10 as well. I'll put it up, obviously. This one was a complete and total shock. This may be one of my favorite ones out of this whole video. The quality of these shadows is stupid. I cannot believe, look at that. I was not expecting that. Profusion is usually good, but not great. This is great, and the colors are just amazing. These purples, emerald. I mean, it just, like, I could go on and on. This one has true, like, a whole bunch of different colors, all of them fall themed, some very bright pops of color, but also these muddy greens and acid, you know, shiny greens, and that purple is, oh, I love a good purple. So this one, I think it gives you a lot of options for different kinds of looks. It is a little more pale skin friendly, as far as there are some dark colors in here, but there's more bright colors and there's more mid-tones, and they do have some nice light colors for the center of the eye. This is really, I think this is actually going to look good on all kinds of tones. It's just fall in a palette, but like a really accessible fall, super cheap, really great formula, very soft, very shimmery. This seems high-end to me. Normally Profusion is good, but not high-end good. This one feels like high-end good. This is better than, like, I think the Dior palettes, just straight up. I don't know how they can do that, and usually they're not this good. This one, I kind of want to go see if they have any other ones in this format and this kind of formula, because this was a total shock to me. This is probably the best out of all the ones that I've tried. You have to, for the price, you got to go check this out. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette, and I got great, very colorful, beautiful looks out of it. And it's just, part of why I like a palette or not is when it's fun to use, because the formula is beautiful and good and easy to use, and it gives you everything you want with just like not very much work. That's what this is. So definitely, if you don't check anything else out, check out this on Amazon. There was only 18 left when I bought this. I really hope that maybe they restocked or that you guys can find it, because this one's worth getting for sure. So pretty. All right, let's move on. Okay, now I've talked about these before and I have done reels on these before, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these, but these are $12. They are the new Makeup Revolution ones, and the really, really good quality formula. Not Natasha Denona formula quality, but close enough. And I think that because they have these cream shadows, they're meant to sort of be dupes for, you know, like Huda Beauties or some of the Patrick Ta palettes. I love the colors, and you can see I've been in them. This one is a little bit, it's beautiful color, but you really got to work to get, you know, like this is the color that I really, really wanted. It's a little bit dry, so it's not as big a color payoff as I wanted, but this one, this is really soft and really nice. So it's a little more hit or miss than like some of the other ones that I've already talked about, but these colors are absolutely gorgeous. I love these muddy greens, the muddy mauves and purples. This would work with both cool tones and warm tone skin. I think this is just, it ends up being neutral. I think if I were to just look at it, I'd say that's a bit of a warm tone palette, but it doesn't really perform that way. I really think it's pretty neutral. It'll work for either way. Just really good quality. I've talked about these before. For the price, I really like these, and I like that it's a different, I like the color stories that are kind of new. This one, same story. This is definitely supposed to be a dupe for Patrick Ta, and these shimmers are just high quality, high payoff. You know, these are nice and soft, unlike the other one. If you are looking for that like warm neutrals, I mean, that's kind of they're warm. If you're looking for a warm palette that has sort of fall themed colors, you know, you're wearing stuff like this for $12 is a great deal as well. Really, really like these. Had to mention them because they're definitely great for fall, definitely drugstore, and they're fairly new. So, okay. This one, if you don't want like really, really high impact, you know, you want something much more neutral, but that has a few little pops of color that give you a little bit more of that fall kind of feeling. They lean a little warm, but not too warm. And you're really like, I don't want big shimmer. I don't want all that. That's too much for me. I'm not really gonna wear that. This is a really good, solid NYX formula. I have to say the NYX eyeshadows in general are pretty good. Not great, pretty darn good. And especially for your average person who's just gonna put a little bit on, you know, in the crease probably, just to add a little bit of dimension to the eye. Stuff like this is great. And I mean, you couldn't have, if you're pale, how many whites and creams? I mean, it's rare that you get this many like lid colors. So this is actually pretty good for that. The look that I got out of this reminds me very much of the look I got out of this Dior palette, only this was a lot cheaper. This has a little more color payoff, and it's beautiful, but it's not drugstore. It's very expensive. But this has a ton of fallout. These blend really beautifully. This is like this light, and then it's got a couple of more warmer colors that will make it a little more fall friendly. So, although this is pretty fall friendly too. This is not like my favorite because I am all about the shimmer, but if I were looking for a mattes and a, you know, just one and done kind of real simple looks, but still kind of a little bit fall themed, this next one it's solid. So that's what I think about that one. It's a good option for some people who are just like, I'm a mattes girly. There you go. Oh, all right, moving on. Okay, these next two really reminded me of each other. This Laura Geller one and this Catrice Safari Fever. Definitely fall colors on both of them. The Laura Geller one's more like $18 online, but I think I got it on sale for closer to $10 just at the time. So very similar color stories. You know, they are, again, for somebody who doesn't want a ton of color payoff. let's start with the Catrice one. This is funny just because, you know, these are the first times I tried these on too, so you can see me trying things on, but my initial thoughts when I put this on was that I liked the bright pops of color, and that I was going to like the look that I got with it better than the Loreal one. But in the end, I actually liked the look that I got with the Loreal one just a little bit more, if I recall. So, I think this one is under $10, and this one, good, not great. A little more muted, but you do have these pops of warm color that are very, very fall-like, that safari theme. You know, they're looking at like foliage, and that's what you get from this, is kind of fall foliage. I was hoping that this green would be more green, but if you're looking for something that is greenish, but is more of like almost, I wouldn't say it, not exactly a khaki, because that's more like of a brown, but this is definitely like, if you really look at it, you see that there's some green in there, but it leans a little more grayed out, browned out. Nice amount of shimmer. These are pretty easy to use, but not like, they're not like whoa on the shimmers, they're not whoa on the quality, but they're pretty darn good. And if you like this color story, it's solid. So these are not, I struggle because I love the color story on this and the Loreal one. The quality is good, not great. So I wanted to give you a lot of options, but if I'm being honest, good, not great. If you just love this color story, it's still worth, you know, under $10. Definitely still good, but not great. So I thought I would still mention it just because I do love the color story on both of these. So same thing about the Loreal, it's a little more expensive. Now with Loreal, the quality is better. It's just, it reminds me a little bit more of the Sigma palettes, where the color payoff is more subdued. It is classier. The look that I got from this, I thought I actually really liked. It is definitely more subtle. It's like subtle, sophisticated shimmer. There's nothing subtle or sophisticated about the shimmer that I usually like to wear. So I think it's really, this is why I wanted to go ahead and include these, is because not everybody is me, who is like, I'm going out like a disco ball. Some of you are like, you know, that's fine for you, but not for me. But I do want a little bit of interest. I do want a little bit of shimmer. And I think that the look I got with this, it's got more greens, which I really, really like. It's got, you know, both a slightly shimmery green and a really pretty, although really a little bit drier, but it's still like the color payoff is good if you want that muted green. Which I love greens, like all greens, but if it's too blue green, it looks kind of tacky on me. Whereas these sort of more natural muted greens, I think, are just gorgeous. And they actually, if you have the brown eyes or the lighter eyes like me with the blue with a little bit of yellow in the middle, which makes them look sort of green, it's going to pick up all of that and it's going to like really enhance that. So this one still worth checking out if you like a slightly different finish, and it is under $20. So, you know, Amazon's been running a lot of sales. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes for even cheaper by the time I actually get this video up. So, still worth checking out. Okay, Milani. Now, Milani, I love a lot of Milani stuff. I don't know what happened. They used to have the best formula, the very old formula from like 10-15 years ago. Just, I mean, high-end formula. They don't have that anymore. So I'm gonna be honest about that. However, their color payoff on this and the colors, gorgeous. So you can get something really great out of these. They're, you know, I think, I don't know, I'll put the price up, but they're drugstore. And this gold and this sort of rust color, spectacular. They're just a little more work to use, I think. Still, if you like this kind of color, little story here, you can really get some really poppy colors. If you want to, with any of these palettes, especially with Drugstore, using something like a NYX glitter glue, something as a base to make something really pop in color or shine, really takes you very, very far and can really elevate something that is Drugstore to looking like much more than Drugstore. At any rate, I gotta say, like, working with this formula, not my favorite because it feels, it's okay. It's just, boy, it's hard to describe. It is not smooth and buttery, which is what I absolutely love with a good shimmer. The binder is just a little rougher in it, but you can get these really, really intense, very fall rusty looks out of this. They have a whole bunch in this format. All of them, the formula is kind of the same. I know these are very popular, but my guess is it's from most people who didn't know the formula before. Their previous formula, unbelievable. So if Milani is watching, please go back to that old formula. It was the absolute best. These are still good, but the old formula was my heart. They were some of the best ones out there from the Drugstore for sure. And even, I would say they competed with high end. Regardless, this one for Drugstore prices is going to give you a pretty beautiful autumn look. All right, final ones. I wasn't gonna include these, and then I was like, well, why not? Because I use these all the time. So if you were looking for a very, very neutral, very easy, very travel friendly sort of autumn look, these are beautiful different tones of browns and gold and silver. These are so easy to use. They have that cooling effect. They're ultra smooth, ultra thin, ultra blendable. They're at the Drugstore. These are new. I really like using these. A lot of times I will use them to sort of marry this little area right here into something else if it's a little patchy, because they're so smoothing and blending. They do have that weird effect where the cooling effect sort of stays until you blend it out. It will leave the cooling effect on your eye, and so that feels a little strange to me. Not a deal breaker though, because the formula is so nice on these, and you can get these at just about any drugstore since they're L'Oreal. Really nice like range of colors. I got all shimmers, but they have some mattes as well. Even their shimmers are very lightly shimmery, so very easy to wear. These I think are gorgeous for an everyday look, and if I was traveling and I really had to pare down, I would probably just grab a little handful of these and use this as my eyeshadow instead, just because they're so easy to use. So you can use your finger, you can use a brush. These are good. Good. Okay, last honorable mention. You will see in some of the videos, I use these little Afflano singles as my shimmer at the end for ones that I really want to be more shimmery. These are like $4 to $6 on Amazon, so definitely drugstore, and just high impact. If you can wear them just by themselves. In fact, they were in my one and done eyeshadow video because they're absolutely gorgeous that way. But I mean, oh my goodness, that is just a beautiful fall color all by itself. You really don't need anything else. These are amazingly impactful, and I mean, if you really want to be cheap, just get one of those. But I really like those as my topper. I have a little bit on today even. I put some at the end. I think they just really, if you want shimmer, which I always do, they really bring everything together. They're super gorgeous. They do have some other colors. They're a little more Halloween-y, but I've got some greens and some purples and this really pretty sort of rusty red. I will use those for different things, but those are basically my dupe for, where is it? The new Kulfi Sona, which is gorgeous, but I mean, look at that. Yeah, but it's a slightly different formula. It gives you some of the same effect, but this one's way more expensive. It's not drugstore. It's like $30. So I love it, and I actually use that all the time, especially if I want something a little with a softer. This has like a gel, and this is just a standard smooth glitter, or yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. But it more metallic effect. But I mean, you can see like the quality is there for both. And at the very least, I think that the Afflano is great as a little topper for fall looks. Like kind of with, you know, the reality is once I did all of these looks, I would, in order to be me and go out instead of just trying them, you know, and trying to do things that are not just for me, I would just put that on at the end and in the center, and then that would be more representative of how I like to wear my fall eyeshadows. Okay, that's it. That was a lot. I wanted to come up with some new ones. These are, I think every single one of these is all new to me, so I did a little shopping, but it's drugstore, so it wasn't too terribly expensive, right? Hopefully this gives you some new things to try, gets you in the mood, and doesn't break the bank, and you know, you see something in here that you think that you can incorporate into your routine, or at the very least just gets you in the mood for fall. So all right, I think that's it. I have an appointment and I'm going to be late, so thank you for watching as always, and if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel to grow, and I appreciate you guys being here. All right, hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next video.